Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi, everyone.
Yes. Welcome to this evening's 8 o'clock focus 1 to 3. You may or may not have seen a webinar with us before. My name is Sean. I am Irish. I work in the school on Via Meravigli, and I have worked there since September. And with me is
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle, and I'm Australian, and I'm one of Sean's colleagues. So we work together. So I also work at Meravigli in Milan. Okay.
Mhm.
So first of all, to start with, everyone, make sure you tell us your name and where you're from. Okay, where you're watching from. So send us a message so we can share it with everyone.
Okay.
Hi, Kiara.
Yes. Hi, Chiara. We've had many focuses with Chiara. She's
Yes.
a great student.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So while you're introducing yourselves, I'll quickly introduce the topic. So today we're looking at the weekend. A bit of a funny one to do on a Monday, but these days, every day is kind of like the weekend.
Yes.
So we're talking about weekend activities, and we're going to look a bit at questions, asking people questions about their weekend and about what they enjoy doing, what they like to do, and the third person. So talking about people in the third person and third person questions, because in English it's the third person, which is different to the other ones. So we have to practice that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll get stuck into it.
Yeah.
So ask and answer the questions in pairs. Sorry. So Danielle, can you read through them, please?
Sure. So the questions are, we've got number 1, what do you usually do at the weekend? Number 2, do you usually stay at home or go out? Number 3, do you prefer being active or relaxed at the weekend? Okay, so we'll talk through these. So Sean, what about the first one? What do you usually do at the weekend?
Yeah, so I suppose this period is unusual with the quarantine. Before the quarantine, I usually, it depends. Usually one day, either Saturday or Sunday, I go out and spend some time with my friends. Either we go for coffee, go for a drink, we go to the cinema, watch a film. It depends. And then one day of the weekend, I like to relax, take some time to clean my house, just to spend time at home. What do you usually do at the weekend, Danielle?
So I usually work at the weekend. I usually work on Saturday. And I usually go out for dinner. I go to a restaurant and have dinner. And I like to go to museums and galleries. So I often go to galleries on the weekend.
Very nice.
Okay. So you usually go out a bit and stay at home a bit. Is that right, Sean?
Yeah, I like a balance between the two. At the moment, certainly, I think there's too much staying at home,
Yes.
but it's what needs to be done. How about you? Do you prefer going out or staying at home?
I prefer to go out. I don't really like staying at home,
Oh,
but I'd obviously have to at the moment.
definitely.
Okay, so Kiara, you've obviously Here you go. So you're telling us. So I usually do a lot of things at the weekend, like go to the cinema. Very good. What else do you do at the weekend? You can tell us
Mm.
what your weekend usually involves.
Yeah, and very good, Chiara. With usually, we use present simple always,
Mhm,
always for things in general. We're talking about usually.
mhm.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
excellent. Mhm. Do you prefer being active or relaxed at the weekend? So you do like to go out, Danielle, but do you like to be active or go out and be relaxed?
A little bit of both, but probably more to relax. So if I go to a gallery or go to some markets, go to the
Mhm.
shops, meet a friend, it's to relax. Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
How about you, Sean? What do you do to relax or to be active?
I usually like to relax, but once in a while, once every few weekends, I like to, go to a party or go out to a club, something like this. So once in a while is once, not very often, occasionally, not regularly. Hmm. So your adverbs of frequency are very, very important for talking about this kind of thing.
Exactly. So we've got, which I think, Kiara, I think you know them. So you know always, like you said, is 100% of the time. Usually more than 50%. Often is sort of, it's probably about the same as usually. Yeah, would you say
Hmm.
that, Sean?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely something that is normal for you to do, that is regular for you to
Yeah,
do.
exactly. Sometimes less than 50%. Hardly ever means close to 0%. Yeah,
Mhm.
never 0%. Okay. Something
Yeah.
else. Have you seen this before? So you can have obviously hardly ever. You can also say almost never.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So, which one do you use, Sean?
I think I would use both, really, but
Okay. Hmm.
hardly ever, I think,
Yeah. So I use
mainly. Most
hardly.
never. I understand it definitely.
Okay. I think almost never is quite American. But yeah, they both mean the same thing for everyone watching. So yeah, Kiara, it's hardly ever or almost never. Right? So it's not hardly never. Right. So you've got some great answers
Yeah,
here.
the percent is a very
Yeah.
good way to
So we've
remember it anyway.
yeah, very good. So you're relaxed and active at the same time. You sleep and watch a lot of films. What types of films do you like watching, Kiara? Tell us what your film taste is.
Yeah. What genres do you like? Yeah,
Yeah.
in the picture, I think these men are watching some football, some soccer. Do you like watching football, Danielle?
No. No, definitely not. I think there's much more important and
No.
interesting things to do. How about you?
No, also not something I usually do. For the World Cup, I always watch the
Yeah,
World Cup, but otherwise, no.
yes, I'm the same. I watch the World Cup and I'll go to a match and watch it live at the stadium, but I don't watch it on TV. So,
Okay, okay. Yeah, I guess it's the atmosphere. It's different.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this slide, we have to match the words to the correct verb that we use with them. So, do you want to read through the words, Danielle? And Chiara, have a go at matching them up to the correct verb.
Exactly. So newspapers, movies, shopping, magazines, TV, soap operas, for a walk, to the beach, running, books, out, films, the countryside. Okay, so sort of some interesting words in there. Kiara, let us know if you don't understand any of these words, and for whoever else is watching, because there are definitely some new words in there. Right? Yeah. So here these are some activities, some things you can do on the weekend. And here we have 3 verbs, right? 3 important verbs. You need to decide which activity belongs with which verb. Okay, Kiara's got some answers already. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, I'd agree with all of those. You go shopping, go for a walk, go to the beach, go out. Next one. Yeah, very good. What do you read?
Yeah.
What do you read? Sean, out of
I
all
think
of
soap operas is maybe an interesting one that they're not familiar with. I know that your country is very famous for its soap operas. We watch Australian soap operas in Ireland.
Yes. So a soap opera is a TV show, and it's a drama, and it's usually just about people's everyday lives. Yeah. I don't know how else to explain it. How do you explain it?
Yeah, it's everyday lives and usually very dramatic. A lot episodes every day, very dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very popular television.
Yeah, lots of things about love and families. That's usually the 2 main themes. Yeah. Kiara, yeah, well done. So you read a newspaper, magazines, books, the countryside. This one isn't quite right though. The countryside, we do something else. Okay, there's a different verb that we use for the countryside.
Yeah.
Okay, but well done otherwise.
Yeah, I'll just reveal the answers maybe.
Yeah.
And we can discuss them a little more. Okay.
Okay. So the countryside. Maybe we should discuss the countryside because this is a strange, it's something you go to. Right. Sean, you're from the countryside, aren't you?
I am, yes. I grew up in the countryside, and generally the countryside would be defined as not a city, not a town. So not Milan, not Rome, just the fields outside of the city.
Okay, we've got someone new. We've got Francisco. Great. Welcome. Please keep sending us your comments and answers. Kiara, you're not alone anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
With go, I think one thing to be careful about is what we go to and what is just, so we go shopping, go for a walk, go to the beach, go running, go out, go to the countryside. So you have to be careful with that. You have to try and remember whether you put to or not.
Yeah. So you have go, so I'll just write it so you guys can see. Go to for a place, and then So go is one of the most common verbs we use. All right. Go to a city, go to bed, go to hospital, go to work.
Mhm.
So in English, guys, to basically always comes after go. Right? You go to somewhere. Doesn't matter if it's really big, like a continent or a country, or really small, like the shops. We use to, right? It doesn't change depending on the size of the place, right? It's not like Italian. And then, yeah, for an activity, we use ing. So go running, go cycling, go skiing.
Mhm.
Right.
Very good. Mhm.
Okay. Sean, out of these activities, which is your favourite to do on the weekend? Maybe if you have three, do you have three favourites?
Yeah, so I like shopping. I like watching movies, and I like going to the countryside. I don't do it very often, but I like going to the countryside. How about you, Danielle? What are your favorites?
I like running. I like going out, and I like going to the beach, but it's a bit
Mm,
difficult to do that in Milan.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Chiara and Francesco, tell us what your favourite three things are to do on the weekend. All right.
Mhm. Yeah, so we have favorite and then negative least favorite, what you don't like to do. So Danielle, what are your least favorite of these activities? What don't you like doing?
I don't like. Hmm, I don't like going for a walk. At the moment, I would like to go for a walk, but normally it's a bit boring. I don't like watching soap operas. Not at all.
No.
And I mm, I don't like shopping.
Okay,
Okay.
you don't like shopping.
No, sometimes I don't like shopping.
Hmm.
Okay. What are your least favorite things?
Yes, I don't like running. I never go for a run. I never go running. I don't like reading newspapers or magazines, really. I'm not interested in that. I sometimes read books, but I would say never the newspaper or magazines.
Okay. So
Mhm.
Kiara's got my favorite three things are so watching TV and movies and reading magazines. Okay, very good, but we need to use the ing. All right, that's a tricky one. Francesco, what have you got? Watching movies, reading books, and going shopping. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, just remember, so we say shopping is with double P. Okay, so shopping, one O, two Ps. It might be a typo though. Okay, so Kiara doesn't like shopping, running, and reading the newspaper. It's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, so Danielle just gave a very good demonstration of the third person there when she was talking about Chiara. She says Chiara doesn't like shopping, going running, or reading the newspaper. So Chiara says I don't, but if we talk about Chiara, we say she doesn't. Or positive, she likes. Yes? Okay, we'll look at that in a moment anyway. Very good work, everyone.
Yeah, well
So
done.
we have more questions about the weekend. So this time it's about the people that you spend time with at the weekend. Danielle, can you read the question?
Sure. So number one, what do you usually do with your family at the weekend? Pardon me. And number two, what do you usually do with your best friend at the weekend? Number three, who do you like going out with at the weekends? All right. Maybe we should look at this verb, to go out. All right. What does that mean? It's a verb. Okay. What do we mean by to go out? Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Sean, do you want to explain?
Yeah, so to go out is to go out socially during the night time. I'm not sure why it's we use to go out in this way, but it's always talking about the night, the evening. Often you're talking about going for drinks, going dancing, yeah, leaving the house in the evening at night.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean to leave your apartment. It's a bit different. Okay. It's something sociable.
Mhm.
Okay. So guys, write to us and let us know your answers to these questions. Okay.
Mhm.
Francesca's got an answer. My family in the weekend walking in the park. So you go walking in the park. Okay. Very good.
Mhm.
We'll just say it slightly differently. We'll say on the weekends, my family goes walking in the park. Yeah.
So what do you do with your family, Danielle?
Sorry.
That's all right.
With my family, you can hear one of my family members now.
Yeah.
With my family, I usually go to the park and I go out for dinner. And
Mhm.
I usually Skype call my parents because my
Oh.
parents live in Australia, so they can see us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you go home to visit often?
I go home to Australia once a year. So usually at Christmas time, I go home.
Okay. Excellent. Mhm. So we have Kiara. I usually go to my aunt's house. Yeah, you don't need to my aunt's house. Just I usually go to my aunt's house. Very nice, very good. What do you usually do with your best friend at the weekend? Me and my BFF. Very good. Play with Lego. BFF, best friend forever. Very good. Excellent. And yes, you have Skype. Yeah, Skype has become very important for keeping in touch, for keeping in contact with people in
Yeah.
this period, certainly.
Mhm.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, so I guess your family doesn't live in Italy, Sean.
No.
But in Ireland, when you lived in
Yeah.
Ireland, what did you do on the weekend together?
Yeah, so we would usually go to restaurants, maybe for lunch or cafes for coffee, something like this. And sometimes we'd go to the cinema, things like that. Yeah, with my family. Very good. And then with my best friend at the weekend, I I usually go shopping with my best friend. I have a best friend in Ireland who is what you would call a shopaholic. She shops all the time. She loves to shop, and I like going shopping with her. I don't always buy things, but I like to go. Hmm. What do you do with your best friend at the weekend, Danielle?
Well, my best friend lives in Australia, but my
Mm.
best friend here in Milan, we often go for a run together, and we often go out for drinks together. And sometimes I'd go to her apartment and we just talk.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you, here we go. So, Francisco, yeah, play soccer together. Uh-huh.
Very good. Okay, and who do you like going out with at the weekends? So I think maybe Chiara is too young to go out. I'm not sure about Francesca. I'm not sure how old you are, but certainly I like to go out with my close friends, with my good friends, to go out in the evening. It's important to go out to spend time with people that you trust. Very good, Danielle. Wait for 2 minutes. She'll be back. So we'll keep going. Now we have questions with how often. Hmm. So how often? Complete the questions. How often do you? So the example. How often do you eat out in restaurants at the weekend? Where? The city center, the gym, the sports center, the shopping center. When? Saturday, Sunday morning, afternoon, evening. Who do you go with? So, it's important to learn the question words in English and what they're asking each question word. So first we have how often. How often is always for the frequency that you do something. So we were talking about the adverbs of frequency earlier. So I think we have them up here. Let me see. Yes. Always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly, ever, never. So if the question is how often, the answer will be one of these, or maybe you could say every day, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month, something like this. And then we have where. Where is always for places. So asking the question of the place where this thing happens, the city center, the gym, the sports center, the shopping center. And when is for time, exactly. When is for time, so the day, the time, the month, the week, exactly. So yes, Chiara, where? So the place. Where do you do this exactly? And when is the time? And who do you go with? Who is for people? So who is about a person? So who are you? Who is she? Who do you go with? With goes to the end, and this is about who you do an activity with, who you do an activity together with. Okay? So we have some answers. I usually watch movies. And how often do you watch movies? Yeah, very good, Kara. So you have the question, how often do you watch I think movies, just for speaking generally, and I usually watch movies. I watch movies in general. I watch movies often. Very good. Exactly. And where? You watch them at the cinema. Very good. And we have a question from, I think, Rami. How often do you go in my yes? Yeah, very good. Perfect. So how often do you go in my yes? Once I went every day to work, but at the moment, not anymore. But generally, I went every day to work in my yes. Yeah. So, yeah, how often? We were just talking about the question words and when we use
Hmm.
them and meanings, and we were making our own questions about the weekend. So, how often do you eat out in restaurants at the weekend? Danielle, how often do you eat out in restaurants at the
I usually eat at restaurants once or twice a week. Twice a week, I think. Mhm.
weekend? Okay, very nice. Twice a week.
Yeah.
So, once or twice, we do not say one time or two times. We always say once or twice. After that, you have three times, four times, five times.
Exactly.
So Francesco is asking for a repeat about how often. So yeah, we were just talking about how often, and I had it earlier, it's about frequency. So usually, sometimes, never, once or twice, exactly. Things like this. The number of times that you do an activity
Mhm.
like this. Exactly. So where do you go to restaurants? Where do you like to eat, Danielle?
I go to restaurants in the city centre, but also
Mhm.
restaurants in my neighbourhood. Okay, so in my
Okay.
neighbourhood. Does everyone know what a neighbourhood is? Neighbourhood is the area where you live. Okay, so my
Hmm.
neighbourhood, I live in Porta Romana in Milan. So my neighbourhood is Porta Romana.
Yeah,
Okay.
very good. Christian, I go with my family once a month to have dinner on Lake Garda near Verona. Wonderful, very good.
Yeah, very good.
Exactly, once a month. Perfect.
Mhm. Sean, how about you? How often do you eat out and where do you go?
Yeah, I hardly ever eat out. I almost never eat out. When I do eat out, I tend to go to the neighborhood called Navigli
Mhm.
here in Milan because it's a student area. There's lots of nice, cheap restaurants which I can afford. So
Yeah,
yeah, in Milan it's important. Yeah.
very good. And what about, and when do you usually go out? Okay, so when, you guys know when is for a time. Um, when do
Yeah.
you go out?
Mhm. Who do you go with to the restaurant, Danielle?
Mhm. I usually go with my friends or I go with my family.
Mhm.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I usually go with my friends. If I'm in Ireland, I go with my family,
Mhm.
but here I go with my friends. Do you
And
ever go alone?
I don't now. Pardon me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Uh, I don't. I go to cafes alone. I'll go to a
Yeah.
cafe and have a piece of cake and sometimes a glass of wine. Um, but I usually don't eat a meal by myself, not at a restaurant. But in the past, I have, but not nowadays, not recently. How about you, Sean? Do you go by yourself?
No, not for a meal. I like you sometimes for a coffee, for a piece of cake, but never for a whole meal. Not at the moment, anyway. Not yet.
Guys, by yourself or alone? It's the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Amy has a good question. That's perfect. Excellent question. Okay. Do you play football, Sean?
No, I
Neither do
think
I.
like Kiara, I never play football. Sometimes I watch it, like I said, if it's the World Cup, but I never play.
Got another. When do you go? We say go to the shopping centre. Yeah, it's a good effort, Francisco. Yeah, nearly right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So Kiara goes sometimes. In Ireland, I used to go maybe once a week to a shopping centre, but certainly in the centre of Milan, I don't think there are many shopping centres. So no, now almost never, hardly ever.
I think there's like in city life, there is a shopping centre, but otherwise, no, I don't know any shopping centres in Milan. Not that I know.
Yeah. Very good, guys. Excellent making questions there. We will move along to In My City. So again, we have some prompts for questions, kind of looking at everything that we've been talking about. And we're going to make questions about my city, about your city. So make the question. We have favorite thing. How do you make that a question about the city? And then when, who, where, how, like, spend time. So see if you can make a full sentence with these prompts, guys.
Once you've made a sentence, then we can talk about these things for you in your home city. Maybe Sean and I can talk about our homes, where we're from. Christian's got a nice question. Have you ever been to Verona? That's a perfect question. Perfectly written question. Yes, I have been to Verona. I've been once. I went 2 years ago. Sean, have you been to Verona?
No. Would you recommend going to Verona? Is it a nice city?
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. It's really beautiful. Yeah, I think it's nice. Okay. So Kiara's got a good answer to the first, what would be the first question. My favorite thing in Naples is lasagna. Okay. And here we go. And here's the question. Perfect. You just need to put a question mark at the end. Oh, here we go. Yep, put your question mark. Very good. Okay. Sean, what's your favorite thing in your city or in your town?
There's not so much to do in my town. Maybe going to the pub. It's my favorite thing. In my town and my village, there is one shop and two pubs because you only need one shop, but you need two pubs.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay.
In your city, Tanya, what's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing in my city is the beach. So we have really nice beaches. Yeah. got some good answers coming in. So, Army. My favorite thing in summer is going in the beach for swimming. Very good. Good answer. Just one thing. We say go to the beach. Okay. After go, it's usually to. You go to somewhere.
Mm. So Chiara, when do you go to Pompeii? I go there sometimes. Yeah, Chiara, you're very lucky to live near Pompeii. It's pretty
Yeah.
spectacular.
Mhm.
I've never visited. Have you, Danielle?
No, I haven't either.
Mm.
You always go to a restaurant to eat pasta al sugo. Very nice. Okay. So the when question. Yeah, sorry. When do you go to Pompeii? Who? Okay, so this is close. How do we make it into a question? Yeah, it's a little bit different. So remember, to make a question, you usually start with a question word. So do we remember what the question words are? They are who, what, when, and why. Okay. So when you ask a question, often they start with these words here. So we would say, who do you go with? Okay. Sean, in your town, who do you go to the pub with?
It depends. I go with sometimes with my neighbors, with the people who live near me. I never go with my sister. She hates the pub. She never goes to the pub.
Okay.
Yeah. Who do you go to the beach with?
Sometimes my cousins. I go to the beach with my cousins a lot, and otherwise with my husband and my baby. But yeah, my cousins and also my friends. I usually go with
Yeah.
my friends. Mm-hmm.
Do you go to the beach on Christmas Day?
No, we don't. Actually, no, we do now, usually for a swim, but we don't spend all day there. We just
Okay.
spend, so I went for last Christmas, I swam on Christmas Day at the beach, but not most people don't. Most people stay home with their families.
Mhm.
Francisco has a good example. When do you read the book? Yeah. But if you're talking generally, just in general, we just say, when do you read books? Okay. Because you're not talking about a specific book, you're talking in general. Okay.
Excellent.
What about the last one? Does anyone know how to make a question out of the last words? How, like, spend time? It's a hard one. Shall we show it? And then maybe we can. Oh, we've lost Sean. Okay, we'll wait for him to come back. So what we would say is, how do you like to spend time?
Mhm.
Okay, this would be for the last one. How do you like to spend time? So that means in general, what do you like to do?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, everyone. We have a few minutes left. We have one last kind of question we're going to look at. What do you prefer? So, with prefer, you're always talking about two things. Yes? So we have the example here. Do you prefer the city or the countryside at the weekend? So often we have one thing or and then the other thing. So do you prefer ham or cheese? Do you prefer the city or the countryside? Do you prefer Milan or Ireland, for example? And then we have some other questions just in general about your preferences, the things that you like, the things that you prefer to do. Yeah? So do you prefer the city or the countryside at the weekend, Danielle?
I like both of them. Um, I I probably prefer the city, but I do like to go to the countryside quite often. Mhm.
Mm. Yeah, excellent work. Exactly. Do you prefer red wine or white wine? Exactly. Two
Perfect.
things with or. I prefer red wine. Which do you prefer,
I
Danielle?
prefer white wine. I like white wine a
Mm,
lot more than red wine. Yeah.
good, good.
Okay.
Mm,
What about number
so,
two?
yeah.
Do you
For
do
me,
housework?
yes,
Because you live by
always.
yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I have to. And the weekend is my chance. It's when I have the time.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do housework on the weekend as well. Kiara doesn't.
Lucky, lucky Kiara.
Yeah.
Give it a few years.
Okay, number three. Do you like to sleep late on the weekend? Sean, I think you like to sleep late. You've said before, haven't you?
Yeah. I like to sleep late every day, really. Do you ever sleep late, Danielle?
No, not really. I don't get up early, but I don't get up late. I get up just in a normal time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good
And
one. Do you
then
prefer
finally,
weekends? Mhm.
yeah, no,
Do you
go
prefer
ahead.
weekends in summer or winter? Okay, so Kiara
It's a nice
says,
question.
yeah, Kiara, I prefer weekends in summer. We use the plural. Okay. Anyone else want to let us know? I prefer weekends in summer because I prefer summer to winter. That's the only reason why. Okay. Francisco loves
Yeah,
winter. Mm. How about you, Sean?
yeah. Well, I prefer summer holidays, but I think in the summer you don't want to be working during the week at all.
Yeah.
So for spending time with your friends in the city, I think maybe the winter it's easier. It's too hot in summer, especially in Milan.
Yeah, this is true. It's too hot in Milan in summertime.
Yeah. So great work, everyone. I think we will wrap up a little bit because we're running low on time. Really fantastic participation today from you guys. You seem to be able to speak about this topic, certainly, with just a few little things to note. I think certainly with go, so go shopping, go for a walk, go to the beach, go running, go out, and go to the countryside. Take a note of that because it's difficult to remember, I think. And
Yeah.
yeah, the question words. So who, what, why, where, when, and how often. and who with at the end always.
Mhm.
Anything to add, Danielle?
No, not at all. I think just before we go, Army had a good example. I prefer weekends in summer because I can do, we say, a lot of things. For example, swimming, walking. Very good. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you all for watching.
Bye bye. We'll see you next time.
See you next time, guys. Bye.